our meeting. Before we start our meeting, we have lost two dear residents to the town, and they have done a great deal of work for our community. Mr. Don Nickerson and Mr. Peter Hastings has passed away, and we're gonna have a moment of silence to remember them. So if I could have everybody bow their heads for a moment of silence. Thank you, everybody. Okay, we're going to start our meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance. If I could have everybody stand up, please. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everybody. Okay, first thing on the agenda is discussion and possible vote on one pour liquor license for the Warren Public Library for November 2nd at 6 p.m. and that's till 9 p.m. With that particular license, there was some concern because they have to have insurance for this. What I would recommend is on our notice, so when we do these, before we sign them, I would put on there
Number 8,
to make sure that they have proof of insurance.
okay, I'll make that number 8 then.
And you just give the details of what it is, so when we go down it, we know it's in writing, that it's on them, that if we approve it, they have to have insurance for this,
Okay, so,
these events.
These are for town-owned buildings, you know.
yeah,
Yes.
insurance for
Right,
town,
right.
yeah.
Or town-owned property.
Property, yeah.
Yeah.
So the other thing too is when it's posted out on the board, it's gotta have the address of where it's being held. When it's posted.
Oh.
Right now, all it says is basically kind of what
Right,
you have here.
yeah, exactly
But it
what it
doesn't
has
tell
here.
where it's happening.
Okay, because that's on here, that's on the actual license, okay.
Yeah, just on the meeting post.
Okay, so we're tabling this until they get their license,
back.
because it's not
That's what we
until-
have to do, right?
Yes.
'Cause
Well,
it's-
yeah, it's gotta be posted with the address,
Yeah.
and then it's gotta have insurance before a license can be issued.
Okay,
Okay.
yeah, they have
And you've
plenty of
talked to her?
time, it's not until November 2nd.
I asked Karen to reach out to Ms. Larkin, yeah.
So
And I
Barbara
did.
Larkin knows.
I did,
Okay. All right. All right, so if she can get the insurance, let us know, and on next agenda, next week, we'll just make sure that we,
as long, yeah, she has plenty of time, it's not until November.
all right. Well, once she gets the insurance, let us know. And
Mhm.
we'll do the license. I don't have any concerns. We always approve these things, but we just gotta make sure that they're followed correctly. And I would add that insurance requirement on there now.
Will do.
Thank you. Good? Any questions?
No.
Okay. Moving on. So discussion and possible vote to appoint Officer Brad Merkel from part-time officer to full-time officer.
Really?
Again.
Good evening, right? So we had an opening, and spoke with Officer Merkel, and he would like to come back to us, full-time status. In the letter I put, was offer him a salary of step 4, and 1 year probation.
One year probation will start at the time of his first shift report, yeah.
Oh, it is a one-year term?
Yes, because
Okay.
that's what we.
1 year probation, right?
Right, yeah, when they flip, when it goes to a different status.
Okay.
I'm a weird case because it's full-time and part-time. I was questioning it too, because I'm like, I was about to complete probationary right before.
Yeah.
And so it's like,
Stop jumping ship.
We were talking about that, I'm like,
You got a good thing, stick with it.
yeah.
All right, do you have anything else, Chief?
Just a real quick on him, he's 10 years started in Florida, as a sheriff down there, came up here, obviously was with us full-time.
Mhm.
And then I skipped over to another town, we won't mention that. And then,
He graced Sturbridge with his
Yeah.
presence.
and then,
I've seen all the positive posts about him
Right.
and all the good things he's done, changing tires and things like that.
You've seen how good of an officer he is, he was a positive for us, and it's amazing to have him back.
Okay, very good.
Sorry.
So Mr. Merkel, I'll call you Mr. Merkel right now, because we haven't made the decision yet. Do you have anything, sir?
No, not really. I just, I appreciate the opportunity to come back here full-time if you guys do approve the motion. Sorry, I'm over 16 hours of work, so I'm like, I'm running on 2 hours of sleep, so I'm half exhausted, but if allowed, that'd be very appreciative. I'll take that very much.
Very good. Do you guys have any questions? Do you have anything, sir?
No, we did have an interview with Mr. Merkel last week, Chief, right? There was a couple other people that we were scheduled to have interviewed. Unfortunately, they didn't show up, so.
Good. Well, that's sad.
Yeah.
Lucky for you. All right. Do you have anything?
I don't, welcome back, well, or we'll, about to maybe welcome.
Do you have anything, sir, before we start?
Don't go away. We'll welcome you here.
Thank you.
Don't go away.
You know, I gotta say, you're an outstanding police officer, and you've always been a positive, a person and a very good officer in our town. And I know you've opened your wings and flown around a little bit, and,
So
now you're coming back, you're flying back to us.
He wasn't even working for us, and he came and marched with us in the parade,
Mm-hmm.
the Memorial Day parade.
No, and it shows his dedication.
Yeah, exactly.
This is your town, even though you live over in the other town next to us. That town we won't mention, but we consider you here as being one of us. So, but
I definitely gained some experience while being over there. There's a couple calls that I've worked that, has definitely helped me mold me a little bit more. for the
you're getting a lot more activity right now too.
Yes.
There's a lot going on in that town.
Most of everything that's been on the Facebook posts has unfortunately been stuff that I've been involved in, to include like the stabbings and all that other stuff. So it's been fun.
The hotels have been busy.
Yeah, the hotels have been very
Yeah.
busy. Very busy.
Unless you have a wedding.
Yeah.
So I'm good. I think it's outstanding. He's definitely an asset to our town, and it'd be an honor to have him back.
Oh,
Yeah,
change that to a one-year term.
1 year term.
One.
yeah. Okay, I'll make a motion to appoint Bradford Merkel to be a full-time officer for a term of 1 year.
Second,
All in favor?
Rich Hacker, aye.
Derek Bellis, aye.
David Dufresne, aye. The motion passes unanimously. Officer Merkel, welcome back.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'll get a copy. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. October 20th, when I went back and I gave them they're short, so I gave them a good 3 weeks. So. Thank you.
Glad to have you, Brad.
All right, back to bed. Y'all have a wonderful evening.
Thank
You too. Get some sleep.
Mhm.
Okay. So we get that all signed.
Thank you.
See Jimmy hiding back there. Okay, next thing on the agenda is the Emergency Management Monthly Report. Mr. McKeon, you're up.
Okay.
Well, we'll probably get about 30,000 people watching us on Zoom, right? At least.
No, 29.
29,000?
999. Somebody just left.
All right.
Hi, Jim McKeon, the Emergency Management Director. I come to you tonight with Emergency Management Report for August. August 5th, we had two of our CERT members actually assist Sturbridge with their PMS bike race. They do that every August. It's thousands and thousands of bikes for about half an hour. They come out of the post towards, just continuing into towards the Cape. More and more CERT members every year help out blocking these intersections from all our, Sturbridge, Charlton, a couple of our members. You gotta get up at 3 o'clock in the morning, but one day, right? We did that, then the next day, the first Sunday of the month, the siren test, that was normal. And then the 12th, I attended a search and rescue class put on through Charlton CERT. Was the Central Mass Search and Rescue Team, which is a volunteer group. They help the state police and other state agencies search areas more in depth. So they gave us some training tips, and we went out in the field in the afternoon, and they set us different techniques and searches, finding stuff in the woods, and search speedy through areas, trying to find little things and bigger items on lines and stuff. So I'm eventually gonna teach that to our team when time allows, parts of it. Then on the 23rd of August, I attended the EMD meeting. It was virtual this time. And then on the 30th, we did our monthly CERT training for first aid and medical. Dan taught our course. About 5 members came. Then we started talking about upcoming Halloween and Christmas events, and the fireworks that didn't happen, but they will happen in the spring. And a car show. Hopefully it doesn't rain this weekend. I'm gonna have that over at the Wood High School. So August was a quieter month for us.
All right.
Next, I got September is National Emergency Preparedness Month. Every September.
Another item?
Yeah,
Yeah.
number 4.
Yeah. So we're actually on
Do you want me to?
agenda item 4 now.
Okay.
Because you gave your monthly report.
Yes.
Do you have any questions about the monthly report?
I do not.
No, sir. All clear.
Okay.
Good, thank you very much. So
Okay.
we're on to the emergency management to discuss several items, light tower, September being emergency management, emergency preparedness month, and some sort of vehicle for towing the emergency management trailers. Okay.
Okay.
So you want a car now?
I'll get into that later. We'll do the emergency, September is emergency preparedness month. Last couple of years, they've done this. It's kind of like fire prevention for October, so September. It's basically, we put out, the state puts out this flyer. I'll give you guys a copy of it too. Maybe we could put it on the link on the website. But it's gets people thinking to prepare themselves, check their, plan for all kinds of hazards, make a safety plan, get a safety kit together, have your medicines that you need and stuff. These are all things to think about before emergency comes up, say a hurricane coming up, or prepare for power outages, prepare your home for any kind of whatever's coming, type of storm. Prepare your pets, and most importantly, stay updated, stay informed, listen to all the alerts and weather warnings and stuff. Be a good neighbor, check on your neighbors during and after, before, on regular days. See something, say something, kind of thing. Listen to all the emergency officials, and important, if things happen to your property during storms, keep a record of any property damage, take pictures for insurance companies. There's a bunch of links too, from the weather services to emergency management. I found, I posted it around on our board down at the park. There's a ready.gov. It'll take you to a whole bunch of different, it's more in depth, if anyone's interested in checking that out. It's ready.gov or mass.gov/ready is another. There's quite a few of them out there.
Do we have a section on our website for you?
Actually, I believe that link might be on the website all the time, but
Yeah.
I'm just kind of promoting it out.
Yes. Anything else, sir?
On that, that's pretty much it, unless you guys have anything.
So you'd be on the cert, right?
Yep, run a cert, and I think it's.
Oh, you're pulling it up.
Yep. See, ready.gov, right in the blue there. Yep.
Mm. You wanna click it?
Sure.
Make sure it goes there?
Should go there. There's all different kinds.
It's ready.
There you go.
Yep.
Ready is ready.
Yep, all different kinds of things that you can click on and.
So build a kit, all that. Something else people should do is have all your important papers
Yep.
in an area, probably a folder, that you can grab. So if you have to leave your property real quick, passports, whatever else, birth certificates, you have it all in one package, you just grab that and go. Because you can't be looking for that stuff, forest fire or whatever, people lose all that stuff, and it takes a lot of effort, a
It's
lot
also
of.
good to maybe get one of
Get
those
it.
fire safe things, or lockbox, so don't get damaged with water or fire or anything. You have those documents still. That's another.
Very good. Anything else, sir?
That's it for that.
Any questions?
Pass on board, Jimmy.
Thank you. All right, what else do you have for us then?
Okay, I believe one of the past meetings, someone was concerned about the light tower
Mhm.
not being covered. They are made to be outside, but I'm working on trying to, for the winter months, possibly trying to get it, may fit in the front of the cemetery shed when we're done through the winter, to park it inside. Or definitely gonna get a cover for it, and it'll be kinda tucked in a more place, but ready to be used, but it'll be hopefully inside.
Can't fit in the highway?
The highways get so many moving things in the winter and stuff, and,
You don't wanna get bumped.
it could, but, I don't want to see that bumped.
All right.
So we work on that.
Yeah, maybe at some point we can look at building an overhang down over here in the back, because that would help. All you need is a roof over it to keep the snow and everything off of the stuff coming down. And, Yeah, that's pretty simple to do. You can do that for, well, we have to pay prevailing wage and everything else, so it's probably be like $100,000 to build a little roof.
Solar panels, they come and put them.
Huh?
Solar panels, they come and put them for us.
Oh, yeah? Yeah. Yeah. All right. Anything else, sir?
That's pretty much for that issue. I'll get into the other, the vehicle.
Well, let's go there.
All right. So basically, I got all these vehicles, trailers, to be towed, the signboard, a couple trailers, a light tower. Currently, I move them around with the highway vehicle, if need be. Though when the highway is not working or we have a planned event, either go to maybe make some kind of deal that we can use the highway vehicle, or I was thinking if a police cruiser was ever to be retired in the future, that could be handed down if the vehicle is still usable. Just kind of.
You probably want a pickup though, right?
Well, basically.
Because the
something-
police cruisers really aren't made for towing.
Something with a trailer hitch. I know the police
How heavy
cruisers-
is it?
They're all under 3.
We towed your trailer with one of them. The
Yeah.
problem is when we get rid of them, you're talking 100 and some odd thousand miles on the car.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
one factor. This
And
is-
that's just the mileage, not
It's
the
really like
engine
200 and
hours.
something thousand miles on the
Yeah.
engine.
It wouldn't, it would be a much lighter use for the rest of the life of it. You know, it might even stay hitched up to the trailer, ready to go. If it was, you know, it's just something, an idea. But the most viable situation probably would be to use the highway vehicle when it was available under.
Can we get them a vehicle?
In terms of, like a pre-owned from police? Or
No, like a pickup truck.
Brand new?
Yeah.
We'd
I
have to
wouldn't
put
want
a,
nothing, you know, brand new, but just a.
It's an emergency vehicle.
Maybe.
For cert, because you get all that stuff, we have other new equipment that's coming down the road. They're gonna have to tow that. That's pretty heavy. You have potential of throwing a pallet of sandbags on there. So there's stuff that you have stanchions and road blockades, things like that. You can't put that in an SUV. You know, I'm just saying, in weather conditions, you might be going on flooded roads, right?
Yeah.
So you need something with a higher suspension.
Doesn't
Don't
the fire
we have any
department have a
pick-
new pickup?
yeah, could we use the fire department's new pickup?
Not if they're responding to
No?
stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's, I kinda thought about that.
You're
too,
robbing
but,
Peter to pay Paul.
that's
He's a different
already-
job. It's a
that's
different
already-
department.
you know.
And he can't keep on running and saying, hey, you know, Adam, can I take your vehicle? Police,
Yeah,
cruisers don't do well in flooded roads.
the cruiser's already there.
And you
Well, the
can't
cruiser's-
put equipment in
Yeah,
them.
right?
They,
Most likely, yeah.
there's not much room in a cruiser to throw equipment. You can't put those road blockades in there, you can't put any of that stuff in there. And if highway department's out there cutting trees down, trying to take care of that, you guys are out blocking roads or doing what you're doing. You can't be pulling them off a job saying, okay, I need you to do this for me, when you're supposed to be doing your own thing. So, I think a case could be made for it. Just saying, that's my recommendation, you know, because a cruiser's not gonna do it.
What about using Jeremy's truck that he uses now on the highway and getting him a new truck? Because it's kind of past the life.
These are all options. I'm just putting it out there to,
Yeah.
people can, it's just not.
That's probably a
Don't
better
jump into
idea.
this quickly, it's, you know, you all.
Jeremy's truck
You know,
is
talk.
getting past the life for him, but it has enough life, I think, to work for that.
Yeah, they're not gonna be driving it every day either.
Well, that's
No,
the
that's
thing, that's
why-
why, when you say new truck, I'm thinking like, they're not
Well,
gonna
that's-
use it
it-
all the.
Well, that's probably a better idea, because if you
Yeah,
take
that's-
Jeremy's truck, of course with his permission.
And then get
If
Jeremy
we
a
take
new
that and get
truck.
him a new truck, if he gets a new truck, then we can repurpose the old truck. And that would be sufficient for you, right?
Yeah, basically looking for something with a trailer hitch.
Yeah, it sounds like what we did with the police cruiser, turn it into the animal control.
Mhm.
You know, it's something,
along those lines.
Repurposed it. I'm just, a cruiser's not gonna do it for what you need. You need something where you can throw stuff in the back of it. You need a pickup, to respond to these things. And the tow stuff too. You know, a pallet of sandbags is not gonna fit in the back of an old cruiser. You know, God forbid we have anything, we need to,
what about the Humvee?
Mm.
yeah. They don't, believe me, nothing's gonna fit in that either.
But it can tow.
It can tow, yeah,
It'll go through water, right?
yeah.
It has.
But that's completely different tow hitch too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a heavy, heavy lock and clasp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's made for towing with the big equipment with the big rings on them. You drop the ring in and it clasps down. It's not a trailer hitch.
See, I need something with a receiver, because I got a hitch that is all different, for different, the 2-inch, the two 5/16s and the 1 7/8. It came with those trailers, part of the grant there, so I
So
basically.
that could be
need
something
the-
for the special then.
Yeah.
need the,
You know, one thing that the board would also want to consider too is that,
You're
you
gonna bring
know,
up the insurance, aren't you?
well, there's going to be an additional cost. So insurance,
Mm.
maintenance for the truck, if it's a used truck that is a hand-me-down from a different department, we're gonna have to have a line to maintain that truck, insure the truck. So there's other outside expenses than just getting a hand-me-down truck and buying a new truck that we're gonna have to budget for and put away for.
We can do that.
Okay.
He has no vehicles. He has a lot of equipment,
Yeah,
but he doesn't have a vehicle to move this equipment. And you can't keep on pulling from other departments who are supposed to be doing their jobs to do that.
So where would this truck be stored?
Park it right back there with the equipment, next to the equipment.
Under the solar panels.
There you go. With Derek's solar panels.
For
I don't know, what do
somebody
you
that
think?
doesn't like solar, you sure are pushing solar.
I don't like cutting trees to put solar, but
If it had to be
a
down
shade
West
for
Park,
parking,
West
it's
Warren,
perfect.
It
you
is.
know, it needed to be-
And if they're gonna come and put it for us,
Mhm.
The only thing is, there's no sun back there.
Mirrors.
You just want the overhang.
we got the shade, yeah. Let them decide what to do. Let their engineers figure that out.
Move the sun closer to us. What do you think?
I agree completely. I think the idea of repurposing the highway truck and getting a new truck, it's good. I acknowledge that we will have another expense for maintenance in the old truck, but it's just a thing. You know, let's say something happens at the levee and we need to move fast and we can't because there was no car. So, and that's one situation. Imagine all the kinds of situations we can run into it. I mean, the worst case scenarios doesn't pass the vote, right?
And I think that would actually help us with the Corps of Engineer too, because now we have a specific vehicle dedicated for that response too,
Mhm.
versus highway and anybody else, because, you know, we're gonna have all the other equipment, the lighting trailer and that other piece of equipment we might be getting there, and dealing with sandbags.
Moving the message board around. if need
Moving the
be.
message board around.
What's a new pickup truck cost?
About
probably
50.
50 or 60 grand.
Okay.
Just one single cab.
And if he's gonna need one anyways,
That's
department gets one.
depending on if it, you know, then if you need to upfit it for plow or, you know,
Yeah.
stuff, lights, I mean, that's more.
well, that one's already upfitted with a plow, right?
Well, the new one.
Jeremy's?
Yes, Jeremy's truck does have a plow on it.
I don't know-
Well, that's
I
stuff
don't-
we'd have to do anyways to give him a new vehicle.
yeah. I don't know if he'd want a plow on his new vehicle.
Right.
We should involve him in this conversation.
I think so too.
Mhm.
Yeah, like I said, this is not something to rush
Oh yeah,
into.
this is a brainstorm. We're brainstorming here to get something, and I like it.
Mm. Yeah. What do you think? You haven't said much.
I'm a little dubious about spending the money on a new vehicle, but I'll go with the suggestion, you know, Jeremy's truck is,
Yeah, well, that's what we're
yeah.
saying, because
Yeah, that's
he's
fine.
obviously gonna need a new truck soon.
Mhm.
If he's got high mileage, you're not gonna get much for a trade-in anyways. And if we could repurpose it instead of buying another one for cert,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, but
And
let's
we'll
get-
just run it into the dirt. When it's dead, then maybe Jeremy will need a new truck then, you know, in a few years. Yeah,
Yeah, let's get Jeremy in, you know, next meeting or two.
see if we, you get his input, let him know what we're thinking. Jim,
Mm-hmm. Right.
see if he's on board with that.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he can,
Or if we, you know, the other way to go is agreement to, we can use one of the existing highway trucks for the purpose. If available, you know.
well, that's the thing, if available.
And that, it might actually be that pickup, that could be, you know, used too, or just ideas.
Okay. Yeah, see, maybe he can look around, maybe he can get a quote for a vehicle too.
Mm-hmm.
And then special town meeting, we could put it on there and see if we can do that, if that's something he wants to do. But if he comes in here and says, yeah, I'm on board with this and I got a quote, this is what it would cost. And then at least we have more information.
Yeah,
Okay? Cool. Anything else, sir?
I think that's it. I'll save another comment for the end, the comments and concerns.
Does it fit in with any of this?
Well, it was about the Veterans Council and Cemetery Department, well, cemetery. Well, we're
Well, there is
just-
no Veterans Council right now.
That's kind of what we're,
Okay.
the cemetery board's a little kind of concerned if, well, myself too. You know,
The
people
Wreaths
come-
Across America?
Not much the Wreaths Across America, but if someone comes for, you know, something with a veteran's stone, a flag missing, something, question about something veterans wise, where should we send them?
To us,
To you guys, okay. All right,
until we have a Veterans Council.
all right,
So, and we'll handle it.
all right.
Answer your question?
That answers that question.
And obviously, just let Mr. Ferrara know and he'll send it to us all and
Okay,
we'll go from there.
all right.
We still do have Gary here on Mondays.
Okay, so
So,
Gary would be.
yeah, I mean, he has access to flags, we can
Okay.
get flags,
All
so,
the flags are upstairs.
yeah.
Yes, I can
Yeah.
see that.
Yep.
All right, so Gary would be still involved.
I mean, he's got stuff on stones too,
Okay.
you know, how to order them.
So if I should send people to him?
Well, I mean, you can send them to me too, or the board, but, you know, Gary is still here on Mondays as our veterans agent until the end of November.
Okay.
And that's another thing. We need to look for a Veterans agent, since you just brought that up. Because at the end of November, he's gone. We need somebody that probably should be training right now with him before he
I was gonna
leaves.
mention something in my report about that.
Oh, all right, all right. So you're on top of it.
Yeah,
All
yeah,
right.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I'm gonna get into.
All right, cool.
All right, should be good. Thank
Hey,
you.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
All right. So next thing on the agenda is review a proposal and price quote from NSA Commercial Door and Hardware for providing non-removable pin and hinges on doors at the Shepherd Building. Okay, Mr. Farrar?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Before you this evening is a really rough estimate and quote from NSA Doors. They have provided us with some services with doors down at the police station here, a commercial door outside of the Shepherd Building. They've done some work in town, and with the board's request of non-removable pin and hinges on some of the doors at the Shepherd Building. Priority given to, obviously, selectmen, treasurer, all the finance offices, clerks, accountants, town administrator's office. With all of those, doors there, you're looking at approximately $211 a door, approximately, to put and install those non-removable hinges and pins.
Okay. So the selectman, the treasurer, the clerk,
Assessors,
assessor,
tax collector, accountant.
You want one on
I
this?
thought our door was already done.
No,
No?
it was fixed but not done.
Didn't we have a door done? I thought we had the hinges put on one of the doors. Didn't
And we just had it fixed.
Just
It was
fixed?
falling off, so we had it
we? Okay.
fixed.
because you've mentioned 6 already, but this is a quote for 5.
Right, so there would be a total of 9 doors.
Oh, okay.
So,
Accountant.
you're looking at a project, anywhere, somewhere around like maybe $3,000, to do it.
So this is just for 5 doors?
That's for 5 doors. So if you take, this is a quote, and some of the doors have to be custom because they're off an inch, a half an inch, so some of the hinges have to be adjusted for that. So he said roughly, if you were looking for a quote for tonight, you take the total of 1,055, divide it by 5, it's 211, so it's about $211 a door for a rough estimate. Now, when he came here today to do some exact measuring, we looked at all of the doors, and it comes up to 9 doors in total, which, you would have to do. If you
That'd be
wanted
about 1,900.
1,900, right. So,
Yeah,
but then,
less.
there's some room in there in terms of, if there has to be some additional work in terms of, sanding some of the doors back, that are maybe a little warped a little bit, it has to be put, it's a quote. So I would estimate the project at somewhere around $3,000.
Okay.
$3,000.
$3,000, yeah. One of the door locks.
Where's the money coming from? What expense?
We haven't identified an expense yet.
It would be out of the Shepherd's buildings that we'd have to put money in the special town.
We don't have any money in there?
Not enough. I mean, we do, but we won't.
Huh? We
If
do, but we
if
won't?
we took it out of the, right now, I'm right where I need to be for my budget.
Okay,
If you add this $3,000 expense, I will be $3,000 short. But I'm
Okay.
also gonna be short because we're paying for janitorial service out of my budget versus the janitor's budget.
okay.
Can we move money from janitors into,
We can.
Yes, yeah. We can't pay a salary from a salary line account to a vendor line account, but we can do a transfer at the November special.
Which
So,
Jim and I have already talked about.
yeah.
Okay, alright. So, we have to wait till the special to get money for this?
No,
Well, no, we have, there's money available in Shepherd expense. It's just that we would have to replenish that account come November with a, hopefully a transfer that would be approved at the special.
But if it's not?
If it's not approved, then we'll be short, we'll have to wait till May.
so we'd look to do this in December pending approval?
You could wait till December if you wanted to do it, yep. Yep. There is a little bit of ARPA money left.
I really don't wanna use the ARPA money.
No, I don't either.
What do you think?
There's
Do
a,
we, sorry,
oh,
is this something, do we really need?
This should happen because there's security concerns.
Then I have no obsession.
There's people's personal information. And we have to do our best to be able to make sure that those doors can't be opened. Unless you're using a key.
Yeah.
So,
And-
yeah,
Is it worth getting 2 more quotes just to see what the prices are running?
yeah, we certainly can.
I would get a quote for all the doors, and I would probably get 2 more quotes too.
Mhm.
Just to see and
Yeah.
do all 9 of them,
Mhm.
so we're not playing around, and get a full quote for all 9 of them,
Mhm.
to do the doors. This way we know what
Yeah.
we need, and we can allocate.
Now, I do wanna mention, that's 9 doors. That doesn't include this, like, doors like in here, but it includes the 2 doors that are out here. So if an office has 2, if a department has 2 doors, like take for example, the assessors and the treasurers, they have 2 doors, so they would have 2 of the non-removable pins and hinges on them, but they have a connecting office, right? But that connecting door would not have that. I mean, that would be,
Yeah, that's fine.
That's fine.
and unless somebody tried to get in through the window.
And we don't have to worry about this because the hinges are actually on the inside of our office.
Right, right.
Yeah, yeah,
So if they pull the hinges, they're already in there.
Right,
right.
right. So it would be just onto the exterior doors, not the connecting doors.
Right.
And then the door that's in my office has no lock on one of the exterior doors
By the stairs.
by the stairs. So that would need to be replaced, and that's why you're looking at a couple $100 just to replace that lock as well. That's why I'm estimating a budget of somewhere around $3,000 to get the entire project done.
Does that door need to be functional?
No, but it needs to be secure.
It's personnel
Well-
files.
I know, but could we, like, screw it shut?
No. No, the building commissioner would,
Yeah, it probably should have an egress in case of an
Well,
emergency.
I guess that was if
Yeah.
that would be functional.
Your office?
Yeah.
No. Code is okay.
He's,
yeah, but we would be making an existing door
That's fine.
non-usable.
That's fine.
I'd be hesitant to do that.
You can ask the building, but as far as I decode it, will be fine.
I mean, most of these offices have one way out anyway,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
No, in the code it's okay, but,
I would ask
Okay,
BJ
ask BJ,
before
but-
sure.
if she has a problem, because there might be a square footage, because of the size of the room, might be required.
Yeah.
And then this has actually 2, because you have a way of going out. And there's another door right there too, that's blocked.
Well, right, yeah, you can't get out that, and you
That
can't get
door.
out that if it's locked.
No,
Well,
no,
what-
but it's a functional door though.
Yeah,
See, the-
yeah.
The code falls into this is office space, is not assembly space. If it was assembly space, then we need 2 egress of access, but this room is small enough to get only one.
Because there's not 200 people trying to get out, right?
Yes.
It's like a handful, or 1 in the case of you, right?
Yeah.
I
Double
go
check.
down with the ship,
Double
right?
check with the.
Yeah, you're supposed to stay anyway.
Double check
Jump out
with
the
the
window.
building
Yeah.
inspector anyway. Double check with the building
Uh-huh.
commissioner anyway, because, everybody can look at the way the code reads, but, just to keep her happy.
Okay,
You could ask Adam too, right? A fire code, just make sure it wouldn't violate a fire
All right.
code.
I'd
Sure.
make sure with Adam too,
Mhm.
because he might have a problem with it.
Mhm.
Because I know
As long as there's
we ran into an issue
The
before with
fire
the school, and
alarm
they thought
and
they were all set with something, and Adam went in there and shut it down, so.
What were you saying, Derek?
As long as in the office from the fire department, what they're looking is that at the entrance at the door, there's a fire alarm on top, 5 feet from the door, then he will be okay. And maybe the exit sign, but I don't think that applies here. Exit sign
I
only
was looking
applies
for a
outside.
smoke alarm in here, I'm like, wait a second, we don't even have a smoke alarm, there's one right there.
Yeah, I looked at it, and I said, I may be opening a can of worms.
Yeah.
But check with the thing, I think code-wise, it's okay
Mhm.
to keep it closed, and, it's not doing anything.
So would you prefer to wait till after the special to do this project, or? Yeah, probably because we wanna get the quotes and it's gonna be.
I'd get the quotes and stuff and figure it out what it is, and
Yeah, let's,
if you get them, then we know better.
Mhm.
And then if you can identify a funding source that we can
Mhm.
pull it from, I'd be more comfortable with that, but I'm hesitant to touch ARPA right now
Mhm.
because we don't have much left in there, and I don't wanna keep on
yeah, we keep,
plucking away at it,
Yeah,
and
I
that's,
know.
that's funding that we can use for anything else, you know? And these are really building issues, so.
Mhm.
yeah, I agree.
You go with that?
I'm good.
Okay.
There's a picture of the design of one of these hinges.
just-
So the hinge doesn't even come apart like a normal hinge, right?
Correct,
It's
right.
already locked
Yes.
together and you
Can't
put
take
it
it
on
apart.
as one piece and that's it, you're done, right?
Yeah.
Meanwhile, we can use crazy glue on this one.
All right. So moving on, right?
Move on.
So review and discuss the first draft of the space needs assessment by Dectron Architects for police and municipal offices. Excuse me. So these are just,
Do they have any mattresses? Not yet.
No.
They have any what?
Usually when, after doing this space analysis, they give you like a little graph with, it's kind of like cutting things, so they start making, departments special, like a space, so we have to the public, vestibules, lobby, public, and they usually cut it in little squares at scale, so you can start looking at.
Like a floor plan?
Very close to a floor plan, but very abstract. So
Okay.
just, you see all the spaces, because when you read it here,
Yeah, this means nothing to me, I don't know,
it's
300
hard
square
to,
feet.
I can go through it and kind of make a sense, but it's not gonna do any good. At the
Yeah.
end of this, it comes a matrix where you could see, the spaces in areas and how the departments connect to each other. That's a matrix, so that's why I was asking for it.
Yeah,
I mean, it's very hard because if you see a lobby 300 square feet, okay, what is that? 100 by 30? 10 by 30?
yeah,
So it's really, it's very conceptual. There's no, right now, a something. If it's a house, it's easier to say, oh yeah, bedroom, 300 square feet, and you can imagine bedroom, but a
Right.
vestibule, is it 10 by 30?
yeah.
Well,
Is
on
it
four
big?
point one, I think it kind of helps you, because it says building area, main building footprint, 1 story, 19,125 square feet. Future building growth, 25% of footprint area, it's 4,800, total
What do
of
you get?
23,000.
that's the police headquarters?
Nope,
Where's this?
Yeah,
What
No.
page are you?
4.1.
4.1.
Where do you
Yeah.
get 19,000 square feet?
4.1 on Warren, Massachusetts site needs assessment town offices.
I know, but 19,000, where do you see that?
Right on 4.1.
Yeah,
Page 1.4.
No, not on draft. This is police headquarters. Go back.
yeah, but that was 4.1.
That was 4.1, this police
Yeah,
headquarters.
but that's police headquarters. There's two different assessments. There's
Where you
town
getting that one from?
offices.
You got,
town offices, and then there's police headquarters.
Oh, I see, okay. Wow,
So town offices is right there, and then the police headquarters probably is,
yeah.
so there's your town offices.
There it is. Well, although that number is like even more abstract to me,
Yeah.
like 19,000 square feet, I don't even know, like,
Yeah, this is pure data, so
Yeah.
it's hard to, to visualize something.
yeah, I mean, could they supply like a? some
I'm sure
sort
that's
of-
the next step.
Whatever he's talking about, or a
So-
layout, or just
So this week,
something
we
to-
met with Tecton, myself, Chief Millet, and Chief Lavoy. They provided a draft of their space needs analysis for both town offices and for police headquarters. On page 1.4, you'll see that, and for town offices, this is the facility gross area, total square footage area that they're projecting based on their analysis of going around the entire building, that they would, as it would sit right now, you would need 19,125 square feet of space in order to have what you have now. If you are, and that includes a 30% adjustment in growth, okay? If you go through these pages in the beginning part of them, you'll see how the building is somewhat kind of laid out. It'll start out with the public entrance, shared meeting facilities, Board of Selectmen and town administration, the town accountant, the treasurer, the Board of Assessors, the tax collectors, the building and planning, the town clerk, the Board of Health, historical, conservation, veterans agent, sewer department, cemetery commission, animal control, parking clerk, cable access, parks and recreation, energy, emergency management, support facilities, staff for facilities, and custodial services, building services. These are all the spaces that currently occupy the building. With regards to how offices are,
Why does he get a bigger office than you?
This was the detectives and that, there's two people in there.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Is
really?
that the first one, or none of the stuff that was deleted is out of it?
this is the draft.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So this is the draft that was provided at the meeting. When we went through it at the meeting, there was stuff that was, changed, modified. This was just based upon what Tecton Architects had visually seen on their assessment when they came out to each of these departments. And this is based on, trying to do shared meeting spaces within this building. As you can see, it calls for meeting room number 1, meeting room number 2, conference room number 1, conference room number 2, executive conference room, and then board meeting room. The purpose of these meeting rooms and conference rooms are to have a combination so that we can get rid of some of the square footages in the offices that they currently have. So, in for example, the assessor's office, there's a huge conference table. In the Board of Health office, there's a conference table. In my office, there's a conference table. In the town accountant's office, there's a conference table. To kind of condense these offices to make them smaller, but also have the connections to shared meeting rooms and shared meetings places to cut down on the square footages of the offices. So if you need to have a meeting where there's a conference table involved, you could go to one of the meeting rooms that are off the side of your office maybe in another room next door or an adjoining next door, and to cut down on the square footages. Now, just from our discussions initially this week, we were able to cut back some of the conference rooms of the town offices. As you can see, square footage adds up, and as square footage adds up, the price adds up. So, it's keen to cut back on the square footage, to find out what you can reasonably have, and where you can reasonably have potential to grow, because you don't want to, be a penny wise and a pound foolish when you build these types of municipal buildings, where you have some expandability. As the town grows, you can grow as well in the building. So if the town becomes now all of a sudden a population of 8,000 people or 10,000 people, that you're gonna have room in municipal side to expand the offices to accommodate those services. We were able to scale back on the town offices, on the municipal side, that number, that 19,000 number, back to like somewhere to around the 14,000 to the 15,000 marker. So, the more we can go through this, look at it, kind of tweak it a little bit, the more money you're gonna save in the end. And that will also follow suit for police and fire as well. Although fire is a little bit more complex, they haven't done their draft yet. They're coming next week to do their draft on next Thursday. They have some unique requirements that they have to follow suit, and obviously, their bays are much longer and require more square footage. So for the police side of things, we were actually able to pare it back a little bit from what was originally proposed to a number. Let's see. Yeah. So to a number of something more closer to 9,000 square feet. So we started at almost 12,000 square feet. So the total land area is 11,992, and that equates to a 30%. It accounts for 30% growth within the department or expansion. We were able to go through this, kind of cut it back a little bit, and get down to a more 9,000-ish of a number, and that will be updated as well. Again, these are first drafts, and I wanted to bring these to the board, to have the board look at them. If you have any comments or suggestions or ideas, we can definitely bring it to the next meeting with Tecton.
So can I throw out an idea?
Sure.
So I assume like meeting room 1 and 2, and then conference room 1 and 2 have a hard wall that divides them?
Not necessarily.
Okay, I guess that would be my suggestion, is instead of meeting room 1 and 2, make a meeting room of 500 square feet with some sort of dividable
Right.
partitions, right? So you could have a big meeting, but then maybe normally it would be 2 or 3 divided spaces, right? Kind of like what they have in West Brookfield.
The big one, he
They have-
designed like that.
So
Okay.
so if you look at the board meeting room,
Okay,
yeah,
I
it
see.
says subdividable,
What page?
page 1.1.
Yeah, the very first page on the tab.
He took that 2,000 square foot meeting space, and that is a subdividable wall. So there would be just like this room with a subdividable wall, where theoretically, if you don't need the extra space, somebody else could meet in the other room. There could be another meeting going on. You could use the room for voting. So if you were having voting that day, that you would take the wall and open up the big room, and then you could have theoretically both polling locations right at one stop.
How big
Okay.
is this room?
Yeah, how big is this room? I was gonna ask the same thing.
Probably about 800 square feet.
He's already working the math.
Oh, good.
Yeah, 800.
800.
So this is only 800.
And then the room
So
next
this
door
would
is
be-
about the same, right?
So that'd be about 1,600.
So a little bit bigger or a little wider, right?
Okay.
So you'd be able to take this out if you had a.
Yeah.
And then
Which
Without
I mean,
that
some
wall-
planning board meetings, to not have that wall, back when solar was hot and heavy, would have been
Yeah.
great to have this like entire space
And
for
again,
planning
if you're
board.
doing voting and everything else too,
Mm,
that helps out a lot.
yeah.
I mean, this is really good. There's a lot of information. I think we're in a good path. This is just to say, okay, this department, okay, what do you have? 2 desks, this and that, because this was a school, so definitely we kind of like fit in here and try to work out.
Yeah,
But it's not exactly what you want or what you need to work out.
right.
That's what they're putting here in order. They're making sure that, you know, X department has 3 desks, an archive, you know, a small public access, and okay, this is the area that you need. Once they do that by departments, I'm sure they're gonna show us, okay, these are your departments, and they start putting all together, and then slowly we're gonna see a design from
Okay,
that.
all right.
Just that right now we can't, you don't see it, just
I
like.
know, it's hard to
The only
picture
thing we
this
could do
stuff.
is like, we did this room right now, it's 800 feet and they're talking about 2,000, okay, so it's twice as big, a little bit more.
And that does help a lot, actually.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's why
Yeah.
I said, you know, the little squares will help later because you're gonna realize, oh, look at that. Department of Health, the Board of Health is very small or it's bigger than, you know, planning board.
Mhm.
And then you're gonna see those relationships, and that's where we can answer is, okay, does really this department need to be this big? Why? Oh, because we have all this. Okay, check.
Well, right now they do meetings in there, but they really don't need to do meetings in there. Like you're saying, we have meeting rooms.
Yep.
So what do you actually need for an
All
office?
that is gonna compress, and
Yeah.
then we're gonna use
Right.
multifunction rooms for different departments.
Okay.
In one of the things that Tecton has said, and, you know, and I can see it firsthand, is that obviously if you have more space available to you, you're going to bring in other things that you may not necessarily need within your workplace.
Really?
Yeah.
So 6 dumpsters worth of stuff?
So, you know,
It's like when you live in a big house, you
right,
collect a
Fill it
bunch of
up.
crap, yeah.
so, you know, try to
But-
scale it back and.
But the problem is if you don't have the space that you can grow into, even though if people put stuff in, you always take it out. You just can't add more space later on. So if we don't plan for some growth, like you say, 30% growth, if we don't do that
Mm.
and we downsize too much,
Mhm.
then we're in the same situation we are now.
These totals are very relative, because once you add circulation and vertical circulation, it's a completely whole story. So these are just individual areas of office, you know, boards, but what about the corridors? What about the entrance, the stairs? So everything is gonna change a little bit. This is a lot of work. As a former architect, this is a lot of work, and it's the beginning for something good, so let them do their job.
Is there a Milo room
Yes,
for them? Oh,
yes.
okay. All right.
Well, there is on this police headquarters thing, okay? However, to scale back, you know, if there's gonna be an option to keep, you know, if municipal offices are too expensive, or if we can only do, you know, a public safety complex, if it's only, you know, we may have to keep Milo here, okay?
Mm.
Because the square footage, we're trying to keep
Well,
it
I'd
down.
rather give them the square footage because that's their training area
Mhm.
and that's for them. So I'd rather give them that in their building and then it gives us the square footage here. Because to be honest, it'd be nice to have a new municipal building, but we need a public safety complex.
Mhm.
That is the
Yeah,
priority.
Yeah,
Yeah.
If we can't do the municipal building, that's fine, I don't care. They need to have a new building, that's not even an option, and we can't cut too much. And I wouldn't cut that Milo
Right.
room.
So, but what I'm saying is that if a public safety complex building comes in at $30 million,
Mhm.
which it very well could, okay? And we're trying to cut it back to $25 million to something that we could possibly afford. You know, we're gonna have to cut some areas like a Milo.
We'll
to
cut
keep
Joe's
it here.
salary.
Huh?
We'll cut Joe's salary.
To keep it here, to keep it here, so that, you know, we can, you know, maybe get something passed for public safety.
yeah.
That's what I'm
Okay,
suggesting.
but right now, plan for it to be there.
Yeah, I think it's a good thing because it is a grant.
Yeah.
And we got it, so it's a plus. I know it's a lot more money at the end, but it's a plus to get a place for them.
Yes. And then that will help them too with working with other police departments and being people, because
It's easier when.
they're gonna have a nice building, you know, with a public safety complex. You don't wanna bring them from that building and then transport your class to teach your students here in our old beat-up building up on the second floor, when they can have the training there. And when they're doing their stuff, and then that disturbs everybody else in the building, because they're gonna be yelling commands and doing everything else. And it's hard for our employees to work when they're yelling, well, I'm not gonna do it in here, but when they're yelling their commands, which can get very loud.
Yeah, basically you don't go to a birthday party and the piñata is next door.
Yeah. Good analogy, I like that. So, yeah, don't cut that space, please.
Okay.
And is the Milo room completely, the new one, say, is it completely dedicated? You can't do anything else with it?
Well, yeah, 'cause that machine, we don't move it around.
Yeah,
it's
it's
set up.
dedicated.
So
It's
once,
fixed.
so once you set it up,
When
it's
we were up there a
done?
few weeks ago, it was like 90, it was hot in there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's dedicated and it's fixed.
Yeah.
But it also, it's a, you know, it's a node, a call of attention, you know, a point of interest for all offices around.
And that was the purpose of having that, is because you could train in other departments and bring them in. That's why we were giving it.
And then we get
because
more officers.
We took that
coming.
responsibility on.
So the other thing is, the Milo room should be in the interior of the building. Right?
Yeah, you
'Cause
don't
right
need
now,
windows.
those
That's
windows.
why the matrix works at some point with the relationships, because you start saying, okay, this space, we don't need windows, we
Yes.
don't need this communication and everything. Slowly, this will transform into
That's the
that.
next stages.
Right, so you you put the Milo room in first and then sort of build around it, right?
Yeah.
Because all these have
Something like
windows.
that's gonna show, because every space is gonna have its own characteristics. You know, like Board of Selectmen or Secretary, oh, they have a window, and they put there, needs a window. And they put all the things, and at the end, they put it like a puzzle, and then something starts coming out. That's called the design process. This is just all the data, you know, from what we are, what we should be, and the next step is, okay, let's start looking at something. And they're gonna talk about relationships. What do we have to do with Board of Health? What does, you know, Planning Board has to do with, you know, all these relationships? That's how it's gonna decide where everything goes within those relationships. They're gonna ask us a lot of questions. They've been doing it, so.
So like the financial offices, you'd all put them like in their own corner or something, right?
And if
They
they
should be
don't
next to
do,
each
but we
other.
notice that and we say, whoa, like we just said, oh, the Mylar room should be with the police. That's gonna be the next step, where we look at it and say, oh, why did you put this here? And they will give you an explanation, and then we may come up and say, no, I think it belongs over here, and they don't move it. And that's how we'll go back and forth. It's fun. It's very fun, but it's a good process. I see a lot of input, a lot of data. This is worth going through.
Okay. Because you were kind of skeptical of this whole process at the beginning, so
Well,
it
I
looks
know the
better.
process, I know the process. I just need at the end is why all this.
Yeah, yeah.
Because we could have a castle, beautiful castle, yeah, but why do we need that?
Mhm.
That justification is the important.
And this is justifying, because they're actually marking down what rooms are who. Planning board gets this much square footage.
Only the
because
fact
of
that they're
this.
saying, okay, you have 4 conference rooms, all in the building, you only need 1. That's a fact. So, things like those where you can say, you're gonna save on electricity, you're gonna save on heat, because we're condensing.
Mhm.
It's gonna make a more compact building. Same for the police, your office is not gonna be next to the retainer. How do you call that? Where you set aside the guys?
Detention?
Detention. So your office is not gonna be next to them, there's no relationship, they are apart. So all that is gonna happen after this. Those relationships are important, the characteristic of each office, what do they need? They need to be near the bathroom, they need a window, they don't need a window. This office needs to be nearby this other office, and we'll see it.
Mhm.
It's just a process of the design.
You good?
Yeah.
Something we're gonna just have to go through and look at. And-
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're gonna run things like the Milo, you just spot it, oh, we don't want the Milo here, we want it over there.
Yeah. there has
And
to
they'll
be-
take note and they'll, tweak it around, that's how it is.
It's like putting the chief's office in our building and making a new building over there. Sorry, chief, we're gonna move you over here now. You're gonna sit with Karen.
It is a very difficult work for the architects to do this, because they have to see the needs of the client, they have to see the logic of how they work every day. They also have to see how the codes relate to them, so it's a puzzle that will come together slowly.
Okay.
So based on these assessments, the type of land that you're going to need to build something like this, for town offices, you're looking at approximately 76,000 square feet, or about 1.75 acreage. And for police, you would need somewhere around, to build the police offices, you would need somewhere around 48,222 for square footage and 1.1 acreage.
That is 1 floor, 2 or 3 stories?
1.
So that's, that's why I see this as very preliminary, because, a town building could easily be 2 stories. And that's
Yeah.
gonna save us on footprint, it's gonna save us on energy, because the more walls we have outside, the more energy we lose.
Right, yeah.
So,
Now, Tecton did mention about a 2-story building. They were reluctant to do something like that at this stage of the game because of ADA accessibility, elevators, the stairwells, you're not gonna save that much space. So as of right now, these would be 1-story,
Well, we got the room, because we got, 6 acres over by the highway barn, right?
about 5.5.
5, yeah.
So, and we're only looking at 2.5.
Well, this doesn't include fire.
Fire's probably gonna be,
Yeah, they're probably gonna take up,
cause they're gonna
The
need
other two.
garages, I mean, that's
Yeah.
gonna take up a lot of space.
they need a lot of room.
Just in vehicle storage, right?
oh, they're big.
I mean, you think
Look
of
at the one in Ware.
But if
And
you're
that's
looking
only
at the
fire.
highway barn.
Yeah, yeah.
If you're looking at the highway barn, the 5.5 acres is to the left.
Yeah,
So if you did this, you could do a municipal building, and then do the public safety complex with fire closer to highway, because they are more related. And if you stick fire close to highway, then there's,
well, plus they're
Area
closer
there.
to the road too, they
Right.
want them to quick exit, right?
right,
Probably fire, police, and then town.
right.
These are all very preliminary.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're just brainstorming.
Yeah, it's
Build it
gonna be a
tomorrow.
give, it's gonna be a give and take,
Yeah.
That's what it is about, but if we don't go through it, we can't come up with a castle in the air, like, oh, this is what we need. No.
Yeah, we just don't want no surprises in the end, and like, what do you mean the Milo built room's still in here? Yeah, that makes no sense.
You'll have options, you'll see,
Yeah.
and at the end of the day, it's gonna come down to price.
It always does. It always does. And that's where your skills come in and and your contacts in the state, and hopefully that municipal public safety thing passes, that board. That would be helpful. Right in time when we're shovel ready. All right. Do you guys have any other questions about this?
No, I don't.
It's a lot of studying, huh?
Yeah.
Are we gonna look at the fire too soon?
Yes, so next week, Tecton's coming out on Thursday at 9. They're gonna come up, they're gonna do the same thing that, they sat with us for about 2 hours each on one of these things. So I would imagine they'll be here for 2 hours for fire on next Thursday. And they're gonna have a draft ready, and they're gonna go through it with Adam, and we'll have a look at that. And then, once that's ready, I will bring that to the board for you to look at as well.
Have they talked about something, having police and fire together?
Yes, yes.
I mean, the way to look at it is to look at all 20 or 50 options. From those, they'll come and say, these are the 3 that you really want, because this is not very good, and they'll explain. And from those 3, that's where the conversation starts.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Okay.
even the
It's an
option
exciting
of,
process.
even the option of doing nothing should be there. Remind them, what's the option of doing nothing? We screw up our departments. That's an option that we have to look at.
Mm-hmm.
Because once we show our project, our feasibility study, we show, look, if we do nothing, we're this low. But if we get this or this, now we're talking.
Mm-hmm.
So, quick question, just because I don't think it's even possible that it could be, but where the highway barn is located, that property, that is not within a floodplain, is it?
I don't think so.
I'm not sure they're gonna do an analysis on that all.
All right. Because the
There
last
is
thing we want to
wetlands.
do is build these buildings and have it within a floodplain. I think they're at a pretty good elevation that that's not even a possibility, and we're far enough from.
But so there's a stream that goes down Bridge Street, right? And then where that sort of triangle is with Reed and Bridge and 19, that does flood.
That does, yeah.
Yeah.
Because of the beavers.
Okay, but still, it's still wet though all the time, so.
But you have to remember that stream turns and goes up Reed. It comes down.
Right, but say we
And
get a
then
hurricane,
You look
you
at
know.
the hill that actually is next to the highway department. That's quite a high hill. Because if you go up the cemetery road, you have to go up that road. That's if you look, that's part of it.
It's elevated.
So it goes down. If you're at the highway, there's a hill.
Okay, but they're
So we're
definitely
gonna
gonna
talk
check this.
Yes.
Because the last thing I want is us to invest all this and then
Be like Leominster.
have a river
Yeah.
run through our building.
You see
Yeah.
Leominster's brand new PV?
Yeah,
They built in the floodplain.
yeah. And these are things we need to take
12
care
feet
of
of
now.
water or something in the bottom, right?
Yeah.
They said it'll never flood. They haven't moved in yet.
Thing with nowadays is anything is possible. As
Yeah.
you've seen in Leominster, as you've seen in Vermont this summer, it's absolutely amazing. You can build something, there's never been water there, it can get washed away.
Mm.
It's,
Yeah. So well, we gotta prepare.
yeah,
All right.
Put it on stilts.
that might be the safest.
And then a tornado will come and pick it up and
Yeah.
take it away.
There you go.
Could I suggest, say like out by the highway barn, sink a well to see how deep it goes before you hit bedrock?
Yeah, they'll do all that. Yeah.
And I suggest not to focus on one site.
No.
Be open in a way. These guys are probably not gonna give us a final design for a specific site, they're gonna give us something, you know, that.
This is what you need, now where do you
Yeah.
want it?
Because every site is gonna be different, a little bit slope, a little bit, you know, something is gonna change the final design, so it needs to be very generic and conceptual, but with a mean of purpose, the purpose of use that is unique to this town, that's what it matters.
So they are looking at the site next to the highway barn, because that's town-owned land. They will look up to 2 additional sites per our contract. So if the board has another site that they want us to look at, you know, if they think about another site, let me know. I will let them know.
Okay. All right, you guys good, move on?
Move on.
Yep.
All right. Warrants and bills.
All right, I'll make a motion to pay the following warrants. Payroll number 13, $55,976.68.
Second?
Wait, nope,
Oh,
vendor
okay.
number, sorry, I paused, didn't I?
Yeah,
Vendor number 16, $35,187.80.
second,
All in favor?
Rich Ihacker, aye.
Derek Bailey's aye.
David Dufresne, aye. The motion passes unanimously.
Make a motion to pay the following bills. Town of Warren Sewer Commission, $570. National Grid, $365. Verizon, $12.76. Buffon Cleaning, $1,425.
Second,
All in favor?
Rich Ihacker, aye.
Derek Bailey's aye.
David Dufresne, aye. The motion passes unanimously. Okay, minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from August 31st, 2023.
Were you here?
Just double checking. Second,
All in favor?
Rich Ihacker, aye.
Derek Bailey's aye.
David Dufresne, aye. The motion passes unanimously. Okay, town administrator report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, thank you, members of the board. I have a brief report tonight, because we talked about a majority of what we were, that had happened this week with Tecton Architects. But I do want to fill the board in on where we are with the position of building and planning secretary. We had 34 total applicants for the position. We have 5 scheduled interviews for Monday. No, that 6th one didn't confirm yet.
Okay.
So we have 5 scheduled interviews for Monday, potentially a 6th one if they call back. And we are continuing to move forward with trying to fill this position as quickly and expeditiously.
1 second.
Yep.
Don't hit your hands on the table because it's messing up their microphones.
Oh, okay, all right, sorry. We're trying to move the position along as best we can, and fill the position with the most qualified applicants. So we have, on the interview committee, we have myself, B.J. Church, Scott Mansfield, Drew King, and Ed Londigan will be in interviews on Monday. And they're gonna start Monday, starting at 2 in my office. And circling back around to the veterans coordinator, benefit person, you know, as we all know, Gary Lapine is gonna be leaving us the end of November. We can post for that position. There was one person that has expressed an interest already. She's contacted other communities, West Brookfield, and I believe he services North Brookfield as well. And I believe that they are going to move forward with that person. I'm not sure if we should, if the board would like to open it up to anybody, or to you know, move in the direction of you know, trying to get this shared person throughout these 3 communities to align with you know, the other communities. We can certainly try to to do that, if the board so chooses. But the,
I'd like to know about this person before we made that decision, because they might be choosing somebody that we might not think is the best fit for our community.
mhm. So it's a unique situation in the fact that, you know, the stipend is, you know, to make it attractive, our stipend's $3,600. So there's other stipends in other communities, where, you know, if this person did 3 communities, it makes it a little bit more attractable for that person to do this position. I do have a resume from that person. I'm not sure if the board would like to just review that, or would the board like me to just put the entire position out for you know, to solicit interviews or to solicit resumes?
I think we should solicit resumes, make it fair, at least get a fair assessment of who's interested in it.
Mhm.
You know, and there might be somebody else in our community that would really like that opportunity. And if we just arbitrarily just pick somebody, you know,
Mhm.
that we don't really know anything about,
Mhm.
I think we should see who else is available.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Gary's
then.
not leaving till November, you said, right?
Right,
So-
the end of November. So I can post it next week.
Yeah.
You know, we'll see who was interested in the position. So we'll post it as just, you know, our stipend, because that's all we can
Yeah.
offer 'em.
Yeah.
I know the other 2 communities have already agreed to this other person. I've talked to the other town administrators in those other communities. They have the authority to hire anybody that they want. I said I have to check with my board. So, I'm just checking, you know, with you guys.
You know, just put it out there, see if there is anybody else interested, and we'll look at this other person too. But if that person's the best fit, then they're the best fit, but who knows, we might find somebody that's a lot better. And then those other towns might see that too and wanna come over to that person too. You know?
I think they've already made a commitment to the other person.
Yeah, it sounds
so-
like they're already
yeah,
on board,
Yeah,
at least for now.
okay. So that's, I will post that position, next week.
Okay. Very good. Anything else, sir?
No, that's it.
Oh, wow.
Well,
Cool.
usually you're go for 45 minutes. So. All right. So, anybody have any questions for me?
No, sir?
All right. New business. Anybody got new business?
Do not.
No?
No, sir?
No? Old business.
Grits crew?
Still on back order.
Oh, okay.
All right.
I did meet with the sewer commissioners, yesterday. And they were talking about the grid screw project. And we, you know, I reached out to Ty and Bond, and still on, you know, the manufacturer for the screw, is, you know, waiting on parts. The installer, is ready to go. Installer's not too crazy about doing any type of demo until he's got, you know, parts ready to go for the new thing.
And I'm sure his prices ain't going down
Well, it's locked in.
as time.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
locked
we got a
in.
contract.
We got a contract, so it's locked in. You know, one thing that was mentioned, about the grid screw in something, you know, in terms of capital planning for the future, and, is the bar rack that's attached to the grid screw. That, you know, it probably would have made the, project more attractable for more people to, apply for, this particular project, because it's all one, it's not one, it's almost like one piece. It's a piece, that coincides with the screw, and, you know, obviously it would cost more money, and the town didn't have the funds to do I'm guessing, because this project was done before I got here, that.
You weren't even asked about it.
Yeah.
Were we?
What?
The rack?
The bar rack?
It was only the grit screw.
Oh.
Yeah,
Well-
yeah, I didn't, yeah.
The
Nobody
bar-
even mentioned the rack.
The bar rack, is part of this grid screw, and I know that the sewer, department, was advocating to try to get that done. And I'm guessing that the reason why it wasn't part of this particular project is because, you know, funds were, there'd probably be an extra
Because they
$200,000.
didn't mention it.
Okay.
So,
I don't, yeah, we would have relied on tie and bond at that point. We didn't
Yeah.
even have a
Yeah.
chief operator.
Yeah.
And,
This is new for us.
Yeah. I mean, maybe they were trying to stay within a cost, because at that point, I think that was our first ARPA payment, and we
Yeah.
didn't really know what else was coming, and it was a decent chunk out of that
Yeah.
ARPA money too, so.
So a bar rack is somewhere around $200,000.
So now you're talking like doubling the cost,
Yeah,
right?
so that project would go from like a $200,000 project to almost like a $500,000 project.
Yeah,
That's why.
yeah.
That's what I was guessing.
okay.
So in the future, we'll probably have to, look at trying to do something with the bar rack down there.
They're gonna have to start doing a capital improvement plan, because, again, if they're foreseeing these things that are repairs, you can't just hit us with it all at once.
Mhm.
You know these things are gonna come, plan for it.
Yep.
Right. Anything else, sir?
No,
So any other old business?
No,
No, okay. So correspondence. We got some correspondence from, it's from Kerry, right?
Yes,
Okay. So this is about a property, and this property is, we've turned it down a few times because it's swamp area. But it's gonna go into tax title. And the problem with that is now we're gonna have to pay for something that they tried giving us previously. And it just doesn't make sense. If they're gonna abandon the property, they're not gonna take it, because both of the owners passed away. At this point, it would just make better sense for us to accept the property, and maybe Parks can do something with it, turn it into a bird site or something like that, or a frog pond or something, or whatever. Or we could try selling it, or whatever, but
so what
If we-
process are
if-
we looking at then, like?
if we go into tax title, we're gonna have to pay lawyers, we're gonna have to go to court, we're gonna have to try to seize a piece of property that they wanted to give us in the first place. And we're gonna waste all that money, and the town's money, for something that
So the question is, can we go back and receive and accept it?
I'm sure they'd prefer that, is just giving it to us, right?
that's what they've said.
Well, I mean, it's not just about giving us to us, so that you'd have to have like a closing, they'd have to, we would have to, there would be costs associated with acquiring this. Maybe this is something that, I don't know if conservation maybe would like to look at.
I think they already said no, there's nothing. I mean, we can ask again, but,
Okay.
I mean, it literally is a
But I-
useless piece of land.
It is, you can't do anything with it, but I don't wanna waste the town's money going to court to take something.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so what if we just stop sending bills and,
You can't.
Can't do
You
that.
can't.
you can't?
You have to send bills, and it has to go to tax title.
Cause
That's
it's
what Carrie
tax
said
property,
today.
it's still privately owned.
How much they pay on taxes?
I don't know, is this the bill or is this the
Yes.
cumulative bill?
$118. Looks like,
That's a monthly one?
no, that's
That's
quarterly.
how much it's quarterly. So that's their quarterly payment, and it's about 5.9 acres.
It's all wetlands.
Yeah. But this is probably something we're gonna have to put on our agenda for next week. just bring it to you guys' attention, because we can't vote on it, what to do or do anything right now.
Yeah.
But, think about it, because, yeah. Kerry would like an answer on what to do.
Well, she just said, tell them that they're gonna end up going to tax title, and I'm not gonna keep bringing bills to this Board of Selectmen.
Yeah.
Can we get an idea of how much it will cost if we accept it and how much it will cost if we go through the whole process? So maybe that can make it easier, our decision. I really like the idea of the birds. You know, put something on the map over there, even if it's so simple of a little
Oh, it's this little
deck
piece. right
looking
here.
at the pond, at the.
So, you know, another thing that we're gonna have to look at is, you know, how would the town acquire this, right? So, you know, if we start buying this person's property,
We're not buying it.
or,
They wanted to give it to us.
okay. Well, I mean, you know,
Yeah.
there's gonna have to be some type of
Because if we were gonna buy it, it'd
purchase
be
and
like,
sale
no.
agreement, yeah.
Well, we'll have to buy it for like $1 or something,
Yeah.
right? I mean, isn't that
Yeah,
how you do
I
these
mean-
things?
I'd
No, I
have to
think 'cause
consult
we're
with legal.
municipality, they can just give it.
They can gift it.
Oh, they can't, okay.
But I think that's something that we need to talk to legal about.
Yes.
So let's try to find out everything we can, and then we can bring it into the agenda and vote.
So there's a little spot here where it looks like it's dry.
Yeah, that's where we can put our bird view site.
So put a little bench and,
Yeah.
Turn it
That's
into a
fine.
little park and for bird viewing and frogs, and maybe they can do fishing. Well, no, it's not deep enough for fishing, right?
probably
I mean,
not.
have you seen the amount of people go to South Street and take pictures of the birds?
Oh, yeah, and yeah.
Yeah. This will be a nice thing on the map for Warren, because, you know, people are interested, they'll come, drive all the way over here just to go over there and take a few pictures, they can stop by at the, Dunkin' Donuts or Dippin' Donuts and buy some coffee.
I'm gonna put a Starbucks right in this corner or something.
That one little spot. What's that like?
Maybe a coffee maker.
An eighth of an acre right there?
Yeah.
Quarter acre?
You can have a little Keurig machine.
No, because then conservation be like, you're too close to wetlands.
Yeah, yeah, we're working within the wetland.
You gotta replicate it now.
Yeah.
All right.
Wouldn't hurt if we drive by just to look at it. So we
Yeah.
can come back next week on the agenda and they give us all the cost information, at least we know what we're talking about, and say, we can't do anything, or yeah, you can put a couple cars, you know, like you said, a little bench and that's it.
I would check with legal and see what the process is for gifting the property to us. If we could do that, cause I really wanna avoid having us go to court and spend money and go through, and the whole time they're not paying taxes on it anyways.
Yeah.
So it's not like they're paying the taxes
Right.
on it either,
We'd have to also come up with a plan to maintain it too.
yeah. Well, it's a wetland, it's self-maintained.
Okay.
Yeah.
We have the Boy Scouts do a bench.
Jimmy's always looking for another job. Wetlands Management Director.
I think he has 15 minutes free on Wednesday right now, so we can
Ooh,
just.
yeah, we gotta fill that up.
Yeah.
He was gonna use that for sleep, but no.
No, he doesn't need to sleep.
All right. So that's on our radar. Anybody have any other correspondence?
No.
I do.
Yeah. What's up, sir?
Remember, Tim contacted me for this green stuff, one of us represent, what did I do?
Tim who?
Tim O'Brien.
Oh, yes, yeah, yep.
So we agreed that I was gonna invite him to come to a meeting, and he said, at this stage, I think it may be premature to discuss at a full board meeting, but I will really appreciate having the opportunity of a little of your time, which is me, when we could discuss and bounce off ideas, et cetera, in a more informal manner. So
Okay.
I'll do that.
Very good. Anything else?
No, sir. Oh, yes. FYI, remember Angel from Calor?
Yep.
He wrote me an email asking me for a phone number.
Okay.
That's about it. I gave the phone number, but he never called back.
It'd be nice if we can figure out how to fund that energy plant.
Well, I guess there's some interest in the back of the email. Doesn't say anything or whatever, he just said, hey, I wanna see if I could talk for you for a minute.
Yeah, well, I'm thinking it would probably be cheaper to build our own plant now versus paying all the national grid bills that keep on going up and up. and
Yeah.
up.
Well, Derek, like, check in with him like in 2 weeks or something, right?
Hmm.
Yeah, I do have his phone number.
Yeah.
Hmm. Anything else?
And that's it.
Okay, comments and concerns. Anybody have any comments and concerns?
I do not.
No, sir.
You sure?
Yes,
You're thinking?
I was thinking.
Right. Anybody in? Mr. Conrad, how you doing, sir?
Joe Conrad, Board of Health. 20 after 1 yesterday, the town air raid siren went off.
Mhm.
And I wondered why there was no reverse 911. So today I came in to ask Jim
Mhm.
if he could find out about it. And I'm sure he could inform us as to why it went off.
It was an error. It was an accidental.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, that is correct.
So yeah, it went off by accident.
They put out a town alert.
They did. And they put it on Facebook too, why? So the Warren Police Department put it out that it was an accidental, and Fire Department, and I know Mr. McKeon back there sent out one too. So, it was accidentally done.
Keep your finger off the button.
By the way, I checked the numbers and Town Alert has about more than 1,600 receivers.
Wow.
So if we think like Warren has 1,700 householders, we're almost covering the whole.
Wow. Very good. Anybody else have any comments or concerns? Ms. McKeon?
One more thing, the school PTO, the elementary school, they're
Mhm.
having their trick or trunk event earlier this year, October 14th.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's a great day.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, on October 14th it is.
Oh, let me guess, your birthday? Oh, hey, I'm the 17th. Very good.
Yeah, just putting that out there, just kind of put the flyer out around town recently, so. It's up at Quabog, the high school.
I know they've been putting out messages too. Very good. Anybody else have any comments and concerns? One of our 1,000 viewers, maybe?
Hmm.
No?
They're awful quiet out there.
They're well behaved.
Yeah, they are.
All right, then we have the firefighters ceremony tomorrow?
Yes.
Award ceremony?
Yep.
So we'll be at that. And I think that's about it. There was nothing else, right? No announcements? No other announcements?
Just the posted times for next week's meetings were incorrect. It's 5 o'clock and 6 o'clock, and it's 5:30 and 6:30.
Okay. All right. So no more comments and concerns. Next meeting is September 28, 2023. And we have a meeting for a dog hearing, which is 5:30 PM. And our regular meeting will begin at 6:30 PM. So it's gonna be a half an hour late. But we do have a dog hearing at 5:30 and then regular at 6:30 PM on that day. Okay?
Motion to adjourn.
Second,
All in favor?
Jai Hacker, aye.
Derek Bailey's aye.
David Dufresne, aye. We are adjourned.